I was right. I was 100% right. I called it when it came to this book. When I covered the video and I was talking about the book and what they wanted to do with Alan Scott, and then Tim Sheridan and his video, begging people to buy his book, I said this book is going to be an absolute catastrophe. And it's just going to be about, oh look, this one's gay, that one's gay, Green Lantern gay, gay, with a story that makes absolutely no sense and just pushes that down your throat. That's all that I think we're going to be, and I was right. This book is a clear example of everything that's going wrong with the comic book industry, and Tim Sheridan coming out and calling people queer phobes and all kind of thing didn't make sense, because this book shows exactly one very important thing, that you made rubbish, and because you refuse to take any kind of responsibility for it, this is the crap people keep getting. And we're going to this one, Alan Scott Green Lantern #1, and we could see exactly how terrible this thing is. Now this book kind of bounces back and forth between like 3 different timelines. It's like set during the 1940s, and then goes back to when Alan Scott was in the army, and it goes back to when it kind of bounces back and forth. So I will try to show exactly I try to keep the story at least cohesive so you understand exactly what's going on in regards to it. It starts off with the whole thing involving Alan Scott and this guy named J. Edgar Hoover from the FBI, and when he literally tries to blackmail him into joining the JSA with pictures of him and with pictures of Alan Scott and the man and doing things, and he tells him, that line I talked about before, I told you I get what I want. Oh, also, we're having a little get-together in Forest Hills this weekend. You'll come. Clyde will give you the details on your way out. And Alan, bring the combat boots if they still fit. Because he has pictures showing Alan Scott and the man, and that's why he's blackmailing him. Then the story jumps back to California, 1936, where Alan is in a hotel room, hugging up and loving up with the man, because this is what this story is about. This entire book is about Alan Scott, gay Green Lantern. Not Alan Scott, Green Lantern. No. Alan Scott, gay, Green Lantern, gay, Alan Scott, gay, Green Lantern. That's what this book is about. That's what it's pushing, that's what it's doing. That's it. So Alan Scott and the man there and the thing and all that, and they're talking back and forth, telling him, I'm sorry, it's just this, Johnny, it's a sin, all kind of thing. I think you're long past that point, friend. I wouldn't do it, and then them have been a bit. Then we get to Alan Scott is apparently in the Army Corps of Engineers. This was during World War II. And you get to find out that they've completely changed and retconned not only his sexuality, but everything about the man. He no longer wants to be a hero. He no longer wants to do anything to save lives. No. The only reason that he is doing this, well, apparently he's now an engineer in the Army Corps, and they are having him some theory that he has to find something called the Crimson Flame, and they're going out into the ocean to look for it. But the only reason Alan Scott is doing this is so that he and Johnny could be together and they could go off somewhere and buy some house and a farm and love each other there whole day and night. That's his only motivation for doing this. He doesn't care at all to help anybody. He has no interest in the war, in saving lives, nothing. His entire motivation for this is just his selfish desire to go and knock boots with his boyfriend. That's it. That's all that he's doing. He even makes this reference to it here. They'd brand us heroes as long as they didn't find out what we really were. how we spent our nights, him and me, the plans we were making, the ones we shared and the ones we were too afraid to tell each other. Things that happened fast with us. Johnny Ladd was assigned to Crimson when we were 6 months deep. A brilliant mind, creative, he was indispensable to the team inside a day, to me even faster. Yeah, so their whole thing is that he's doing this so that they could end up together. That's what they want. And in the stories about how, how they have to hide who they are because people don't understand and it was all kind of thing, all this, the other. I'm not saying that, these things didn't happen back then, okay. But that's absolutely nothing to do with the story, because all you're telling is, and I should say that has nothing to do with the story, but that's all the story is about. You've taken away Alan Scott's entire purpose of being a hero and have just reduced the man to being a literal pain in the neck who just wants to get it all with his boyfriend, doesn't care about anything else, as long as he can pull off this mission to get back to doing what he wants to do. That's all that matters. That's it. Even makes another reference to it here. It's hard to say what I was doing on that ship was for anyone's good but my own, mine and Johnny's. The idea was to write our ticket out of the army. To them, the Crimson Flame was a valuable weapon. To me, it was a doctoral fellowship and a book or three, just enough to keep the lights on as we tucked ourselves away in the middle of some blissful nowhere, a future. So again, he has absolutely no interest in saving lives and helping people. He doesn't care about any of that. The only reason he's doing any of this is so that he could be, so that he could have a life with his boyfriend. That's it. Nothing else. As far as he's concerned, the rest of the world could burn as long as he gets what he wants. Yeah, this is how you write heroes, people. Destroy what makes them heroes and then act like their sexuality is the only thing that should ever matter. So when they do eventually end up, finding the Crimson Flame, you understand me? Whatever the hell it is, the Crimson Flame ends up coming, they trap it inside of the ship, only to find out, and I'm telling you, this is how it works. So apparently, the Crimson Flame is somehow homophobic, and it's literally intentionally going after Alan and Johnny. I'm telling you, that's what's happening. It's literally going after Alan and Johnny. They end up in this big hullabaloo, end up stopping what's going on with the Crimson Flame, and they end up managing to stabilize it. But as they do, and they're trying to celebrate what they're doing, and how he named Alan Scott goes to meet him, the Crimson Flame suddenly attacks and pulls him away. You understand me? It literally just pulls him away because, like I said, apparently the Crimson Flame is homophobic or something. That's kind of what they're trying to push with it. The Crimson Flame just drags him away. That's what they were doing. Now, as I said, how this thing keeps going back and forth. There's this other storyline that's going on here in New York City, 1941, where Alan Scott is talking to some guy named Derby. I think he's his driver or something like that, and he's telling him how J. Edgar Hoover is blackmailing him into joining the JSA because of whatever it is, and he's just about and you have Alan Scott who's talking about he doesn't want to join the Justice Society, he doesn't care, all of this stuff and all of this, I don't know. So then he tells him, Derby is saying, and you're telling me he's blackmailing you. Wow, I mean, you was already famous, Al, but this is famous on a whole nother level. And all he wants is for you to smash up a few goons with the Justice Club. Then Alan Scott is Justice Society, and that's not all he wants, but it's enough. So then there'll be, so what, who cares? You spend a day with Dr. Helmet, the ghost guy, and Zippy, the fastball, or what have you, and bingo bango, the feds is off your case. I say do it. Then Alan Scott is all, you know I can't. So then he goes on account of who you fool around with, that ain't none of their that ain't none of their business. You're a hero. Then that are gonna maybe in the light, but after that the world and its laws bring what they are. The hard truth is I'm a criminal. Don't say that it ain't like you're some kind of delinquent. Derby, I knowingly and repeatedly commit felonious acts with other men that. And he's all, woo, hey, I don't judge yous, but I don't need no details on what yous all do, what your felonies, and neither does the JSA. I mean, you know, if you think about it is, I mean, when you change a character, and this is one of my biggest problems, when you change a character, when you literally retcon a character and it becomes all about their sexuality, that is it. He has no interest whatsoever in being, he literally had no interest in being a hero to begin with. Being in the army was just a means to getting him and his boyfriend together. He didn't care about helping anybody. He's a Green Lantern, he has the ring, one or the other, he just doesn't give a crap on being part of a team and doing anything, but as far as he's concerned, that is somehow a problem with what's going on. I mean, it's just absolute and utter garbage. And I keep saying, this is what I knew this book was going to be about, and that is exactly what it is. That's it. When they do have something happen now, Alan Scott turns into his Green Lantern persona and then he takes off. When he gets to the scene, however, apparently the cops are telling him something about how he was already there and he took the men away and he's like, he don't know what's going on, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden some fireball comes into the sky. So he flies up there to deal with it, ends up shooting a beam at it and dispersing it. When he does end up finding some person lying on the building and he brings the person down, it turns out that the person is his old boyfriend, was supposedly pulled into the ocean by the by the red flame or crimson flame, whatever they want to call it, all those years ago, and drowned, and that's it. Now apparently when Johnny got pulled away into the ocean, I don't know, like apparently Alan had some kind of mental breakdown or something, so, and then he ended up in a conversion camp and they were strapping him down, apparently able to run in like shock therapy on him. I'm not going to say that, we've all heard this story about these conversion camps and they had with homosexual people and all kind of thing like that. Was terrible, okay, but they're setting this up to be just like that, to try and shock the gay out of him. And I tell you, this is what this entire book is about. All it has done is expose what DC is planning, what they're doing with Alan Scott, and Tim Sheridan's own moronicness. Because like I said before, I know the man's work. This is what he does. This book is just another clear example of you pushing gay Green Lantern with nothing of substance to back it up. I called it this book was going to be garbage, and I was 100% right. Absolute and utter tatter. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.